rain at the theme park, oh yeah, it definitely changed how we worked that day. Of course, we're all used to a regular day at the theme park where you can go out and all the rides are open and everything's fine, but when it rained like this, it definitely meant a change in how we did our jobs, including just even being outside. Now, all of my jobs were outside, whether it was driving a Rhino Rally, whether it was taking pictures on Main Street or around Epcot, or over at the train at Silver Dollar City. I was outside most of the time, which meant when the weather changed, I had to deal with it. Every single park had a little bit different procedure for dealing with rain, and depending upon what it was doing, it would affect how we did our job and what we did. The one thing all three of the parks had was rain gear. At Silver Dollar City, we had kind of these black slickers we would keep in our break room, but at Disney and Busch Gardens, we had the clear PVC plastic stuff that, honestly, ick. So there was two different kinds. There was the kind that would have the upper jacket and then the plastic pants. None of us liked those. They were horrible. You put them on over your regular clothes and they were not comfortable in the least. The second thing that we had at Disney in particular, but you could sometimes get it at Busch, was essentially a long jacket that would go down past your knees and it would have a separate hood attachment. We loved those. If we had to wear our rain gear, that was what we looked for. Partially because at Disney, the hood on those things was removable. So we would deliberately wear one out really quick, keep the hood, throw away the other one, and get a new set. So that way we had an extra hood that we could wrap around our camera, keep it nice and dry in the rain. Both of them, very simply, the rain gear was not comfortable to wear. It didn't breathe, which meant when it was raining, you were sweating like crazy because there was no air circulation in it. Yeah, did not like wearing the rain gear. It's why if you walk down or walk around Disney now and you see it raining, you'll notice that all of the photographers and the other people outside have their rain gear open because they're just trying to get air in. Yeah, they want to keep the rainwater off a little bit, but at the same time, it's not comfortable. It's much easier to just go take cover underneath store eaves or something like that. Get out of the water and just try to stay dry that way. For our characters, they all had different rain locations. They may be out by the water at Epcot, but if it rained, we moved. At the time, Belle and Aurora actually both went into an indoor location. Jasmine and Aladdin actually had a specific location that they basically now use all the time. That was originally just the rain location. So all of the characters, if it's raining, you went somewhere else. Mulan, for example, would be out in front of the temple in China, but if it was raining, she would go inside of the temple, and we had a little spot there for her. The characters who meet out at the flagpole or in front of the train station, they would all go to different locations on the outside perimeter. There's a gazebo, for example, over by City Hall, and we would go under there. The biggest thing was to keep the character covered, which meant in some cases the photographers were out in the rain still. So we had to watch our cameras. Since then, they have changed it a little bit, and you see this thing over my head? They've now given photographers umbrellas, which was long overdue. Don't know why they didn't do that before, but we didn't have them when I was there. We would even get into the habit of having guests line up while we're standing in the undercover, and then we would jog out, take their pictures real quick, jog back undercover, and then scan their cards and stuff. So we get the pictures without getting the cameras wet and having them go boom. Not a good thing. So a lot of it was just trying to keep our camera gear in particular dry and working that out. And that meant sometimes that we would get wet while it didn't. Yeah, not fun. For Rhino Rally, we still ran in the rain. We still drove around. The animals were still out there doing their deal. We didn't change a whole lot. But the crowds would definitely get a little bit lighter and ease up. Now, if there was lightning, yeah, that would shut us down. And what was bad is if we were driving around when the lightning started. That happened a couple times. You know, rhinos getting spooked by lightning is not a good thing. That was actually one of the scariest things I ever saw. I'm actually driving around in the rhino pen, and a lightning bolt hit down across the street, I think over at Adventure Island, the water park. Spooked the rhino right as I'm driving by. I didn't know rhinos could jump. This thing jumps, it starts spinning, and I'm going, oh crud, I can only do 7 miles an hour in my Land Rover. Yeah, that was a little scary. But yeah, we would still do the ride as long as there was no lightning, and as long as the rain had not flooded our tunnel. When you first started at Rhino Rally, you went up over a bridge around the elephants, and then there was a tunnel you went down that should have some water in it. Well, if we got a lot of rain, that tunnel did not drain properly, and it would fill up. And I saw a couple times where it was 6 feet of water. That meant we weren't running, because we weren't taking those Land Rovers in that much water. So in a case like that, we all had our rain gear on, and we would go stand out at the entrance. We would rotate people through, so that way you didn't have any one person getting too terribly soaked. So you'd be out for like 20, 30 minutes, and then you'd go back to the break room for a while somebody else came out. And yeah, standing out in front of the ride, sorry folks, we're flooded, we can't run. Or sorry, there's lightning. Terrible, because people don't understand.
Why is it raining? Why is it lightning? Why don't you make it stop?
And yeah, they'd be serious. Why don't you make it stop? Like, I have any control over the weather. Really? No, I can't do that. I can do a lot of things. I have no control over this. There is no weather dome. And it's amazing how many people believe that. You'd hear it all the time at Disney. Why don't you turn the rain off? Can't do it. I'm not God. Silver Dollar City was kind of the same as Rhino Rally. If we had lightning within a certain radius, 5-10 miles, we were done. We weren't running. We tell people we're running the train on 2 giant lightning rods. Okay, now technically, yes, the train can run in lightning, and you're going to be safe, but we weren't going to take chances, especially with the new cars being metal framed like they were. So no, we didn't run. Weren't going to chance it. We would run in the rain, even hard rains. And if we were doing the robbery, a light rain like this, we would rob the train. We would stop it, we'd rob it, and we'd do the whole deal. We might have rain slickers on while we did it, but we would do it. However, if it got heavier, where you were really going to get wet, or if it was dripping into the train cars or stuff like that, we wouldn't. So what we would do is when the train is going out into the woods, there's actually a spot where it passes the robber shack where we would brake. And the robbers typically come out and they wave at the train or glare at it or do something. If it was raining too hard, we would actually signal the engineer from there. And we would let him know, hey, not doing it. And we watch for him to nod to get the signal. And assuming he got the signal, we would then go down. We kind of still stand behind the prop shack so we didn't get too wet, and we would wave. The other thing that was kind of a cue is if for some reason the engineer missed it, we would not stand by the tracks. The engineer's cue that we were doing a show was we were standing down by the tracks to flag the train down. Well, if we're not down there, we're not doing a robbery. So that was kind of the backup. And then as they came in, they would see us standing up there. Or if it was really raining hard, we just plain stayed inside. And we did that sometimes because it'd be raining. It's like, I'm not going out and staying there for a few minutes. We try to radio them in a case like that just to make sure they knew. But usually it was pretty easy to figure out. It's like, it's pouring. Nope, not going to do it. Wouldn't be prudent. And then in cases like that too, the conductors, again, they go stand out in front of the station. There were actually times that we came in when the weather was so bad when we started that the robbers never even got out into the woods. You could ride on the maintenance run. That's what you did, was the robbers would ride the maintenance run train around and then hop off out at the robber shack. Well, if it's storming and lightning, you wouldn't even get the maintenance run in. Might come up to the station and sit there, but it may not even leave the roundhouse. So then the robbers would be out at front of the station as well. So if you see those occasional pictures of the robbers out in front of the train station interacting with the people, it's because of either a mechanical issue or because there was lightning and they never got out into the woods, and so they're just staying there goofing off. That's how we got a couple of those. Yeah, very disruptive. It was not fun robbing trains in the rain. You didn't like getting wet. The guests didn't like getting wet. but if it wasn't too bad, you did it. And most of the time at that point, we were doing a short show. We weren't doing the mall routine. We weren't extending and adding on little stuff. It was, let's get them in, let's give them an entertaining few minutes, and then let's get them back out into town. So rain, yeah, rain was not fun. Didn't like the rain gear. Didn't like some of the precautions. Didn't like how it affected the crowds and what we did. And sometimes it would just completely shut us down. So, but at the same time, it can also be a great time to visit the park because there's no lines. So I like visiting. I just didn't like working. But do you have stories about working in the rain at your park? I'd love to hear them. Please share them in the comments below. Thank you so incredibly much to my patrons and supporters who help me go to parks in the rain sometimes, including Cedar Point. There's something about Cedar Point and rain. I don't need... Anyways, if you want to know more about supporting and the perks that come with it, please check the description below. Thank you so incredibly much for watching. God bless. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know your thoughts, your comments, your suggestions, your ideas. Be sure to share them in the comments below, or you can contact me. There's information in the description that has my email address, fan pages, information about merchandise, and so much more. So be sure to check that out. Don't forget to hit that like button, share the video, and if you haven't already, hit the button right up there to subscribe. And in fact, if you did enjoy this, I've even got another video for you right here. And also about these wonderful people here, those are my YouTube members and my patrons, the ones whose financial support makes this possible. I couldn't do it without them. If you want to know more about that and the perks that come with it, well, be sure to check the description. There's a link right down there. Thank you so incredibly much. God bless.